great day, everyone. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Overnight Success Podcast. I'm your host, Diamond McNulty, founder and CEO of McNulty International, creator of the Success Club, author of How to Become a Successful Young Man, Woman, 12 Things Entrepreneurship Pray For, and Success Recovery. And we're here on the Overnight Success Podcast to do one thing, and that's to empower high schoolers and college students to focus on success and succeed in life. And here we want to do that, and we also want to empower some adults as well throughout this process. So today we're going to tell the story of an amazing gentleman. I can't wait to bring him in. Come on in. He is a loving husband, a father, a supportive, loyal friend and brother. He is the founder and CEO of Big Don's Collection. Come on in, Shadeed. How you doing today? Shadeed,
how you doing? I like the intro. Thanks for the intro.
That is awesome. A supportive, loyal friend and brother. You can't get that.
Absolutely.
It matters. So thank you for joining me in the virtual studio today. I greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, today, so we're going to get into a couple things. But before we get started with sharing your journey with our youth that may be watching, is there anything you want to share with our audience today?
The one thing I want to share is just let everybody know that I'm grateful to be on this platform. I'm grateful for Diamond and highlighting not only students, but also entrepreneurs in this journey. So that's the one thing I want to emphasize today.
Thank you. And thank you for joining me. I know you know your journey is nothing shy of amazing, right? So when you talk about the family, right? When you talk about the journey, when you talk about overcoming and developing something that's inspiring to so many people, I know that this is going to touch a lot of people. So let's take it back, Shadeed, all the way to the beginning. How was your upcoming, born and raised, all of those family dynamics?
Okay, so I'm born and raised on the near north side of Chicago. I was raised in a two-parent household. My mom was a community activist, Regina Stewart. I grew up in an environment where activism and leadership was an emphasis. People emphasize those things. My father, he was a hardworking man. He took care of all 6 of his children. And I grew up playing sports. I went to Manier Elementary grade school. I played sports there. I played for the Chicago Demons AAU team. I started with them when I was around second grade. Played football for Sewell Park Raiders. I played baseball for the African American Little League. So I was always active. And so that's my upbringing. Sports, family, community. That's my upbringing.
That matters, right? Because, being outside of the house, not just inside playing video games, but being outside and being that active. What did that do for you as far as the community environment? And then as far as you just connecting with other people?
Well, what it did was it built relationships that I still have to this day. Most of my friends, if not 99% of my friends, we've been friends for 30 plus years. Also, it kept us youthful, kept us active. It kept us curious and doing things besides sitting in the house playing games. We were actually outside, not only getting exercise, but we were building bonds, understanding what it's like to be in the world at a young age. You have to go to the store and be able to count your money and different things like that and know how to navigate this world at a young age. So, and it taught us when we played sports, it taught us discipline. It taught us hard work. So, and I was also learning those things while doing it with my friends. So it was not just learning these things by myself. I had 10 or 12 different young guys that was doing it with me. So it made it a lot easier, made it fun to have this journey with them as well.
Right. And as you mentioned, those long-term relationships, I can only imagine, the stories, right? when y'all are looking back, but it matters to have genuine individuals around you, especially that you can grow with. So what kind of student were you? How was your schooling dynamics as far as grammar school and high school?
So in school, I was just an average student. I was one of those students that I didn't take school so important. I kind of went to school because mom told me to, dad told me to. But as I got older, I took education a lot more serious. I was a student, but also I was a student that applied itself. Like I was a self-taught guy. I'll go home and do it behind the scenes and constantly just search for knowledge. Like I love history. I read a lot of history books. I love different things like that. I'm a curious person when it comes to education. So there's not too many topics that I cannot talk about. Like I'm well versed in a lot of different things. So we talking. And I'm one of those people, if I don't know, I'll sit there and listen to learn. But it's a lot of things that I know a lot about. So I was one of those type of students.
that's a secret, because that's how you connect with a lot of people, by
Mm-hmm.
learning little tidbits here and there. But
Mm-hmm.
even with learning all of those things, being able, like yourself, to hone in on a couple different things too,
Right.
a little bit greater in that. Did you have any coaches or mentors around that time that guided you and helped you navigate your journey?
Absolutely. I had Michael Huff, which was one of my biggest mentors. I had older brothers, Alan, my brother Zany, my brother Omar. Those were my mentors. They were my big brothers, but they were my role models. We had a coach named Carter, Vince Carter. We had guys in the neighborhood, Michael Skeet Horton, one of the guys that I ultimately looked up to, because he was just one of those guys that was so positive. He just did so much for us. And so I had a few coaches. I would name those three that was mentors to me besides my brothers. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And because I tell you, take hold, pay attention, listen, learn. There's so many people that have navigated different pathways before you. So you don't have to do exactly what they did, but you
Right.
definitely want to learn along the way.
Yeah.
So here you are, you're in grammar school and then you're going into high school. When did you begin to identify some of your gifts or passions around those? Was it around those ages or was it older?
Well, younger, I was a prodigy in basketball. So going into high school, I had a lot of expectations on what I was going to do as far as basketball and different things like that. And so when I went there, I went to Lincoln Park High School my freshman year. Didn't do so well due to me and the things I was doing. My father was the security guard at Near North, so I ended up transferring to Near North Metropolitan, and I ended up getting back on track. I ended up playing 3 years of basketball there. My senior year, I ended up winning or got voted to be on an all-conference team. So that was my focus in high school, pretty much basketball. That was my thing. But in the process of me being in high school, I went to a metropolitan high school. We had culinary arts, which was hotel management. And that is when I was kind of all introduced to cooking. Now, I cooked at home. All us cooked the oods and noodles, and we did the fried hot dog and things like that. We did all of that. But I had a teacher named Mr. Pulaski, and he was one of the most amazing teachers you can ever have. He had patience, and he taught us some things, and I kind of fell in love with it, or the idea of cooking. And that's where it initially starts to, come into my conscience about what I wanted to do. And I didn't think I would be doing what I'm doing today, but, God pull you full circle sometimes. So
I'm telling you, connecting those dots. And most of the time, it's when you're young, when you have those exposures that stick with you. I think a lot of people just don't understand that. You're not waiting for something. It's already in you, That's, you just got to pull it out, use it, So identifying those gifts truly matters. So now you are navigating high school. You're a basketball star. You're crushing it.
Yeah.
What college did you choose and why? And what did that look like as far as that journey?
So I'm going to be honest with you, Diamond. Coming out of high school, I could have went to a lot of junior colleges. I didn't. When I was in high school, my senior year, my love for basketball was wavering. I didn't really love it the way I used to. So I ended up enrolling in Malcolm X College, and I stayed there until I figured out this is not what I wanted to do. So I ultimately left Malcolm X College, and at that point, I just went into the workforce. I just went into the workforce like normal 19, 20-year-olds do. And just trying to figure out my life. And I was dating my high school sweetheart, and she ended up going to Northern Illinois, and I used to go down there and visit her all the time. And me and her were just kind of like trying to figure out our life, and we ended up having our first son. And once we had our first son, everything just started coming full circle for me.
Well, it matters too, because when you talk about finding someone that you can connect with and build with, even at a young age, that commitment, so much matters. Sometimes we want to play the field, but that could be distractions. So it's exciting that you were able to lock onto your high school sweetheart and move that forward for the rest of your life. Did you have any moments throughout that time where that you felt like was a setback or a setup that you had to overcome?
You know what, Diamond? Yes. When I left Malcolm X, I felt like it was a setback because I had no idea what my future looked like. I just didn't know, and it was one of the hardest moments in my life because I grew up playing sports, so I knew what my day-to-day looked like every day. I woke up, I went to school, I went to practice. I had my schedule already predetermined. But
Right.
after high school and during that part, there was no mama waking you up. You got to go to school. There was no practice. There was no game. So now I have to figure out how to navigate without the one thing that always kind of kept my life structured, which was sports. And that was the hardest part. It took me years to figure out what my life was, what my purpose was, and ultimately what I wanted to do. Not know necessarily what I want to do, but how I wanted to move forward
Right.
with whatever it is that I choose to do.
Hello, my name is Diamond McNulty, and I want to welcome you to the McNulty International Success Club, where we help youth and adults create their personal success plans to achieve their dreams in life. Visit McNultyInternational.com today and register, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of y'all inside the boardroom. But like you said, it's always full circle. You always end up in that position. You like, this is why I took that pathway.
Yeah.
So what were some of the career choices that you had throughout that process, right? Because when you're entering the workforce, there are so many things that you can do. And how did you navigate that?
So I worked construction. I worked at a hardware store. I worked at Target. I worked for Chicago Park District. So I worked several different jobs. And every job I went to, not only did I work it, but I worked it to the point where they was asking me to be in leadership.
Yeah.
And every time I was about to get the leadership role, I'll leave that job to go somewhere else.
Why?
So,
said,
life, either I moved from that location. So God always guided my path where he wanted me to be.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't meant for me to stay, because maybe if I had got that position, I probably would have stayed there 20 years or something like that. You know what I mean? So I just let God guide me.
Right. Is there any advice that you would give a student right now coming up?
You know what? I would tell any student coming up, get around, find your mentor, somebody you trust, get somebody who can give you some advice. Listen to people who've been there before you. The biggest thing is listening to somebody who walked that path before you. A lot of young people don't know what they want to do at this moment. Even when they're in college, they're changing their major 3 or 4 different times because they don't know. We're young. We don't understand. We don't know. But stay consistent at whatever it is, and every day get up with a goal and a mission, or whatever it is that you choose to want to go after. So I would tell them to stay away from negative people that try to distract you from your goal and your mission, and to just stay focused as much as possible. We're going to get unfocused. You're young. You will be unfocused at times. But I said at times, which means get right back on it.
Right.
If this week you was unfocused, next week get back focused.
Right. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable.
Absolutely.
Were there any books or resources that you came across that have helped you on your journey?
Well, the best book I ever read was the autobiography of Malcolm X. So I learned redemption. So I would say, with that book, it showed me that anything is possible once you find your purpose, you find your spirituality. Anything is possible. He was a natural born leader, but he didn't know that. He was leading in the wrong way early in his life. But when he found a religion, he found a purpose, he found spirituality. So I would say that, because he lived his life after that righteously. He was married. He had kids that wasn't out of wedlock. He did things the right way. So I would say the autobiography of Malcolm X.
That is great. And that's good, because you was in it, you took the nuggets. I like to say you got to take the meat off the bone. You was
take it off the bone.
get that information, and not only just getting the information, but applying it to your life. I think that's so important. Now, while we're on the topic of insight, right, and educating you, what was some of the greatest advice that you've received throughout your journey?
I remember when I was transitioning from Lincoln Park High School to Near North High School, and I was going into the unknown. All my friends was at Lincoln Park, so I had to go to Near North. I had no friends there. I was new to the school. I had to go to summer school that summer, and my oldest brother, Zany, he told me, this is the first time I actually started listening to people. He said, Shah, he said, man, just stay focused. He said, if you stay focused, everything else will take care of itself. And then I had another friend, Torres Bartlett. And he told me one time I was skipping school because, again, I'm going into a new element. I don't know anybody. I'm eating lunch by myself and all these things. And he's told me, he said, it's only what you make it to be. So those two things made me look at things a lot differently. right? I thought I couldn't make it through that summer school. 7 hours in the summer, my whole day is taken up by school. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to go there because I didn't know anybody, but I made it my own,
Right.
and I focused, so accomplished both of them. So those were two of the best advice that helped me get through a hard time.
Focus.
The
And
focus.
it's only what you make it.
Only what you make it.
Because it's right there in that mind. Now that matters. Now here you go. You had those skills, you basketball, right? You go into the career for it, and you had that exposure for culinary arts. So as your journey progressed, you find yourself here developing, right? Being so creative to create something that is extremely delicious, I gotta say.
Appreciate it.
Right? I need more. I ran out. But so walk us on that journey on how you went from the workforce into creating your own brand.
So me and my wife, we had our own apartment. We used to just hang out. We lived in the north suburb of Chicago, I'm sorry. And I didn't go out much. I just hung out with my two kids. I had Brooklyn, my son Shadeed, and my daughter Brooklyn, and they were my buddies. We hung out all the time. Me and my father had an interest in this particular show on TV One. It was a black chef, and we used to watch him every Thursday. This particular time, he did this Coca-Cola barbecue sauce, and I tried to recreate it, which I tried to do with all his dishes. And this one, it didn't come out quite right, but it sparked my interest of that particular genre of food. Yeah. Now, I always cooked. For me and her, we'll kind of compete with each other who can make the best whatever. But this was a sauce, something I've never tried to do. And from that, it sparked something inside of me that I kind of like fell in love with the creation of creating something that you actually come up with in your thoughts.
Yeah.
And that was the start of it.
Right. So that was the testing.
That was definitely.
So here you are, you're testing. And how did that lead into the whole Big Don's collection?
Well, I kept making it. I just kept making it. I got obsessed with it. I'll be honest with you, Diamond. I really got obsessed with it. I was trying a lot of different things. And then after about the year, I say about year 4 or 5, I kind of told myself, I said, well, if I ever get it right, I could turn this into a business one day. And I just kept working at it. And I finally tested it out on my children. They ate it all the time, but I tested 3 different kinds so I can narrow it down which one I was going to go with. And they number 3. And I can still remember that day vividly. And they loved it. And then I went back in and I created the spicy to have a partner with the original. And in 2020, we launched October 8th, 2020. On Big Don's, which is my father, on his birthday. So that's the launch date of, yeah.
When you think about that, right, going from idea, now, not everyone can pull an idea out of their mind and manifest it into a real life form. And that's a secret, right? They call it alchemy.
Alchemy, yeah.
Alchemy.
Yeah.
So,
alchemy.
Once you learn how to do that, then you become something different because now you understand that destiny is in your hand. So that's the sweet spot that I love what you did, right? Because you didn't let it go. Like you said, you kind of became obsessed with it, but now not only can this brand continue to grow and continue, it's going to be huge.
Huge. Yes, sir.
And how did you stay motivated throughout that process?
Diamond, the motivation came from, it was times I got unmotivated. I can say, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a very honest person. So it was times where I was unmotivated. Sometimes sales wasn't what you wanted to be and things like that. And then I listened to an interview, Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. And he said they had lost a t-shirt store that they had a few times. They kept losing it. And they asked him, what made you keep doing it? He said, the difference between me and a lot of different people, they gave up and I didn't. And when I heard that, it motivated me. Diamond, I didn't care if we sold one. I didn't care. I was going to keep going and keep going. I got to see it through because, again, I'm obsessed with this thing, right?
Yes.
I'm very obsessed with what I created. So if you're obsessed with something, you can't just stop.
Yes.
I'm driven to see this thing become something my grandson, my great-grandson, I won't be here, but they will, and they can enjoy it. So that's the motivation. That's the motivation.
And once you build a business like that's special because once you build it, you learn that it's all about climbing and maintaining. I
That's
think
right.
the word maintaining scare a lot of people, especially
Mhm.
throughout their journey, because they think that it's always supposed to be these sparks and fires, but it's supposed to reach business as usual.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Right. So sometimes when the thrill is gone, it's okay to maintain it, but can you maintain what you
Can you
built?
maintain? That's right. That's right.
So continue to climb a little bit
Hmm.
more, maintain.
Yeah.
So I love that you went through that journey, and now that the next generation can benefit from it because somebody got to start.
That's right.
How did you handle the entire risk taking? Because I know it's a family affair.
You know what? We risk everything every day, Diamond. So what's different? Like I use my own money and I have very, very, very supportive wife. And I have my kids. They like the biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And so there was no risk for me. I don't believe in failure. So I got a partner that pushed me even when I don't want to be pushed. And so, hey, I'm on a winning team, Diamond. I got a dream team, so I'm good.
I'm telling you, that's the secret. I hope the youth that are listening hears that. You need somebody by your side to support you and push you forward because
Mhm.
the journey is not always easy, right?
No, no.
The framework is there. Everybody has the framework. So the framework
Mhm.
is simple, but it's not easy for you to do it.
It's not. It's
So
not.
you got to be committed.
Got to be.
Oh man. So what was the vision for the entire Big Don's collection? And what does that look like?
The ultimate vision right now, we have two sauces, two seasonings.
Yeah.
We have a hot sauce that's coming. We have, I can tell people now, we have potato chips that we're working on. I have a sugar-free sauce that I want to produce, a no salt seasoning that I want to produce. So it's a product line. We want to make the merch, our cups, our aprons, our everything that we do. We want it to be clean, crisp. We want this to be a luxury line. And that's the goal of 2025 and beyond. We're creating Big Don's as a luxury line. So if you see what our prices are, well, our prices that way because we use quality products. I mean, quality ingredients. We're not shortcutting our customers.
Yeah.
Our merch will have quality. Everything will be of quality. So that's what we're creating right now.
I love that. And it matters when you have, like, it's not only that support and that partnership, but that vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask that because I want our youth to understand that when sometimes you start off, you don't even see what this could be.
You don't.
But as you continue to build and you take those steps, then things get clearer and clearer and clearer.
But you know what, Diamond? At the beginning, I saw it. I saw everything I wanted. Because again, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
So it's nights I can't go to sleep because I'm always thinking. I'm driven by this thing. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm really driven. So once you get to that point, Diamond, some people can't see their future. I can. And I'm grateful that God gave me that ability.
Well, I love that. So I could see my big vision, but I couldn't see every step I was going to take. I was like, I knew the big vision. I didn't know the connections. I didn't know the relationship. I didn't know the struggle. I didn't know the stress.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to have to deal with that whole year that I was upside down. But it's okay. It's okay. Is there anything you want to share with our audience that we haven't had a chance to share?
No, we're talking to young people, right? So what I want to tell anybody that's young or old, middle age, what I would tell you, if there's something that you want to do, don't wait to start it, right? Start it with whatever finances you have and let it work for itself. Let it build. Brick by brick, brick by brick. What I would tell young people is it's going to be hard roads through whatever journey you take. Your job is to take a deep breath and keep pushing through. You can't stop, right? I think a lot of people mistake is we always think it's supposed to be easy. And I don't think no success comes without stress, without sleepless nights, financial trouble, all those things. And don't be embarrassed by your journey. Don't wait for your family to be your family and friends to be the only people that support you, or get mad when they don't support you, or they can't see your vision. You got to believe in what you're doing, and you have to stay committed to whatever it is that you choose to do. So that's what I would tell anybody. Just stay committed, stay driven, block out some of the noise sometimes that come your way. Yeah, tunnel vision.
Tunnel, that is amazing. And I hope our youth really actually rewind this and listen to that one more time, right?
Yeah.
Because believe in yourself. I have wristbands that say, I believe in me, right? Because I need you to understand that I believe in me. Sometimes
I don't have one of those.
I got to get you one of these. Because there was moments where I was the only person that saw the vision.
Yep.
And it's okay. It's exactly what you're saying, but anything is possible if you believe in yourself, create a plan, take action, and never give up. Today, we was able to witness an entire journey of a young man that started off in school, basketball star, right? Pivoted in various areas, worked into career fields, and now was able to create its own product line. And the sky is just the refueling station. It's not even a limit. Shadeed, how can everyone get in contact with you?
So you can follow us at Big Don's Collection. I think it's Big Don's 2020 EST on Instagram. We are Big Don's Collection on Facebook. We are Big Don's 1300 on TikTok. And also I have a YouTube page, All Things the letter Q, the YouTube channel. I'm sorry, YouTube channel. Yep.
I love it. I'm going to post everything for them to have access to it as well. I know it's going to inspire and encourage so many people, not only young people, but also adults that's going to watch this. And I'm grateful for you for taking action, because every person that's around you sees what you've done. And I know it inspired them so that they can do more themselves. So thank you again. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we'll see y'all next time inside the boardroom. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.